Okay, good morning, everyone. On behalf of HM Patel Institute of English Training and Research, Valla Vidyanagar, I take this opportunity to welcome all dignitaries, guests, alumni of the Institute, and the participants to this national webinar on envisioning teaching and learning in the light of NEP 2020, which is also an extremely relevant topic of the time. And today we have with us the expert from the field of education, who shall be reflecting on the theme of this webinar. To begin with, I now request to the Honorable Principal Sir, Dr. N.V. Bose, to give the opening remarks. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. You're audible.
Okay. The opening remark is already made, I'm happy to see Bhavin here to reflect on the relevant topic, NEP. I hope he would touch on NEP and English language teaching in somewhere in his talk, because there is a lot of discussion going on making mother tongue mandatory till class 5th, or that could be in another platform we could discuss. Anyway, I'm so happy to see there are many participants from all over India, and also I'm happy to welcome all of you on this platform. Thank you very much. Now, over to you, Bhavin.
Thank you so much, sir. Now I request faculty of the Institute, Dr. Manas Thakur, sir, for the welcome address. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much. Respected Principal of the Institute, Dr. Bosa, today's guest speaker, Bhavin sir, my colleagues and students and teachers who are attending this seminar. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to introduce the Institute. I'm going to speak something about this Institute. In fact, it is difficult to cover all the views about this Institute in a time span of 2 minutes. But let me try to give some glimpses of this Institute. Friends, H.M. Patel Institute of English Training and Research was founded in 1965 by late Dr. H.M. Patel, sir, the proud son of India, the man of the soil of Gujarat, who was the then chairman of Charutar Vidya Mandal, the CVM, and he laid the foundation of this institute with a vision to cater to the need of competent English teachers at various levels in India. Friends, he was a person who envisioned the importance of English as a window to the world. And it was a time, if you remember, when all the people of India were against English, particularly in Gujarat. We were in favor of the mother tongue. We were willing that English language also must go along with the English rule. And in such a time, he understood the importance of English and dreamt of an institute like H.M. Patel Institute. So it is really very important. It is interesting to know that it was his Sashti Purti Samaroh, that is the 60th birthday celebration of H.M. Patel sir, on which occasion he received a huge amount of money as a token of love of many of his admirers, which he decided to donate to the field of education. And this is how he laid the foundation of this institution, which was his dream and vision. Now, how fruitful is the contribution of this institution can be known by the number of teachers of English that the institution has produced. First, this institution has produced more than 10,000 teachers and professors working very efficiently at various schools and colleges and universities, not only Gujarat, but all over the world. Our alumni are working in some of the prestigious institutions in India, not only India, but even in UK, Australia, Canada, USA, Arabian countries, and many more. Our students are not only in the field of education, but they are also glorifying the name of this institution in various fields like Indian civil services, police department, railways, even in television and radio as radio jockeys, in corporate agencies, in Amul, the Taste of India, NDTV, Karamsad Medical, Sri Krishna Hospital, and many more. So HM Patel Institute has made its contribution not only in the pre-service training of teachers, but also in the in-service teachers, those who are already teachers in the schools. And this institution has trained thousands of teachers, not only in Gujarat, but all over the nation. Friends, the institution has made a lot of research in ELT, that is English language teaching. And the contribution of HM Patel in the textbook part is really very good. You just pick up any book of English from the textbook part of Gujarat, you would find the name of the professors of HM Patel Institute as the writers and reviewers of these books. Right now, the institution has a language lab, recording studio, a rich library as a resource center, well-equipped classrooms, auditorium, and whatnot. And this is the cause why the institution has been recently awarded the 4-star by GSIRF, that is Gujarat State Institutional Rating Framework, which is administered by KCG, the Knowledge Consortium of Gujarat. And this is how the institution is one of the top BEd colleges in the state of Gujarat. So we all are proud to be the part of HM Patel Institute. And the guest today that we are having is also a member of HM Patel Institute family. And we always proudly say that once an champion is always a champion. So Dr. Bhavin Chauhan is also such a champion, and we welcome him from the core of our heart. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, sir, for this welcome address. Now I request Dr. Mayur Parmar, the convener of the Alumni Association at CITR, to introduce for today's guest. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Dodia. Dr. Bhavin Chauhan. He is an assistant professor in the Faculty of Education and Psychology, the Maharaja Sayajirao University, Vadodara. But before that, let me tell you that he is a proud product of this institute. Dr. Bhavin Chauhan studied from this institute, I guess, in 2003, 2004. Dr. Chauhan is an educational consultant for communication skills, soft skills, non-verbal communication, emotional intelligence, and many more are his areas of interest. He is a voracious reader. He is an avid reader, I must say. He loves reading, and he is an active blogger. The participant friends, you would be really surprised and happy to know that his blog has been viewed for more than 2 lakh times. So that itself is an achievement. Dr. Chauhan has more than 4 books published on communication skills, body language, and to his credit, there are more than 35 articles and many research papers are there. I require a lot of time to talk about his achievements, but see, I don't want to be a hurdle between the participants and Dr. Chauhan. To end his introduction, I would say, apart from an academician, apart from an active blogger and a voracious reader, he is a very good friend of mine. I had an opportunity to be with him at HM Patel, and I have known him closely. And on behalf of the Internal Quality Assurance Cell, on behalf of the Alumni Association of the Institute, and on my personal behalf, I invite Dr. Chauhan. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for inviting me here, Dr. Bose, the principal of this HM Patel College, the institute where I have grown up. As Dr. Mona says, I am also one of that 10,000 teachers and lecturers who are brought up from here, right? So thank you very much for inviting me. Dr. Rajnikant Dodia, Dr. Mayur Parmar, he's one of my senior. We were together, right? He was in M.Ed, I was in B.Ed. So thank you for inviting. Now let us start our journey. See, as far as this topic is concerned, nowadays this topic is in a boom. Everyone in the every corner of academic gully, you will find that one person is talking on this topic. The moment you will switch off this webinar, you will have one more brochure in your WhatsApp that one more webinar is there at 3:30 or maybe at 2 o'clock, right? And again, you are going to see that what something is new is going to be there, where everybody is describing the thing that is given in 66 pages. Right? Are you able to understand what I'm trying to say right now? That this policy has been explained so explicitly in these 66 pages, and after that, there are more than 10,000 material. Yes, yesterday I researched on that. There are more than 10,000 material is available on the internet only on NEP 2020. Right? It is so much explained a lot. It is so much discussed a lot, so much criticized also a lot. But at the same time, there are certain things which I think we should go for. And that is why the today's topic is envisioning learning and teaching in the light of NEP 2020, where first we will see some key facts of NEP, and then we will discuss about what will be the vision or a future of learning in the light of NEP. So let us start our journey now. I'm presenting my screen. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes,
just
sir.
one. It gets open. Just 1 minute. Yeah. Now, is it white screen? Okay. Are you able to see this white screen? Yes or no?
Sir.
Okay, fine.
Absolutely.
That's fine. Now, this is something that we all know. These are facts. So I don't want to go into facts. But the last line is very important for our discussion, that this particular policy aims at making India a global knowledge superpower. The question comes that when we claim that we can make our India this much, that means a global knowledge superpower, how to do it, that is also a question. And that is what we are going to discuss here, right? Okay. This policy is aligned with 2030's agenda of sustainable goal development. If you see the 4 documents, Dallas report, then this sustainable goals, then this 21st century skills, and NEP 2020. If you see, there are quite similarity you will find in all these 4 documents, right? All these 4 documents are aligning with each other, and all are promoting certain skills, right? So here, the point is that by this, both schools and college education will be more holistic and flexible and multidisciplinary, and it will to 21st century needs and aim at bringing out the unique capability of each student. So this policy focusing on holistic educational development. That is point number 2. Next is the background that when we talk about India, these are the statistics, right? That we can see that these many universities we are having, 1,028. Then standalone institutions are 45,000, schools 40 lakh, and students. This is just a number of that day, that month, right? So see, with this staggering number, to manage this thing in such a large scale, we require some robust planning, and NEP is giving that roadmap to us, some kind of glimpse to that. Now, this is the statement, and you must have, I have seen the statement that means I'm sure on that day on television that NEP will ensure the holistic development of learner, and we have to advance our student with 21st century. And these 21st century skill will be will be of critical thinking, creative thinking, collaboration, curiosity, and communication. So these, again, these 5 C's are also focusing on the 4 C's of 21st century skills, and they are critical thinking, creative thinking, collaborative thinking, that is collaboration, and communication. Curiosity was not there, but Modi sir has added that also. So these also align with 21st century skill. Now here, these are the facts, right? That how the structure has changed, right? Earlier it was 10 plus 2, and now it is 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4. And now you know all about this. So let us directly go to structures, that what is this structure is all about. The first stage is age 3 to 8, and that will be a foundation stage, right? And that foundation stage is about rapid brain development and learning based on play and active discovery. So this is going to be a playway method and active learning method for these years. Then the second stage is preparatory stage, that is age 8 to 11, that is building on play and discovery and begin the transition of structured learning. So here you will find from playway to structured. Then the next is middle stage, that is from 11 years to 14 years. And learning concept here is in the subject. Yeah, now here, what you will do, you are going to, means the here, learner is going to have the conceptualization of subject in a detailed manner, as well as they are now navigating to the adolescence also. So there are some changes also there, and these changes will also be taken care in this middle stage. And in second stage, preparation for livelihood and higher education. So there will be a bridging thing for higher education as well as preparation of livelihood you will find here in this stage, and transition from young adulthood you can find here. So see this earlier 10 plus 2 में ये सब नहीं होता था, doesn't matter right now, but here it is given in a very structured manner that this we need to do in this format and this we need to do in this stage. So this plan is better in new academic structure. Next is the new means this is the basic emphasis of this policy on the foundational skills and numeracy, right? Here they are means focusing more that up to class vocational education should start, and before that the foundational literacy and numeracy should be developed in the learners. Here they are also advocating, which is what Bose sir says, that mother tongue, right? That policy emphasizes that new means the teaching should be there in mother tongue only up to grade 5, but they are not forcing, they are not imposing right now, they are just suggesting. See, please remember, policy is not a rule, policy is the guideline, right? Okay, so guideline follow, a guideline to follow or not, that is in the hand of state. There are many things were not followed. See, in the last policies, many things are not and that is not followed in Tamil Nadu, right? And there are many states, right? The 3-language formula you can find. Just go to Tamil Nadu, you will find that that was not followed there, right? So point here is that this is the guideline. So it is not so that when they say that we are going to have only regional language up to grade 5, that means English is omitted. It is not the undertone. It is something that we need to think and we need to opt about. Assessment reform here, that earlier, see, there is a wonderful term that is 360-degree portfolio analysis will be there. That is called holistic progress card of the students, in which he will be evaluated comprehensively, continuously, and this portfolio is prepared for his growth throughout his tracking. So the kind of a tracking system will be there for whole schooling system, whole schooling years for him. NCT, in consultation with NCERT, will formulate a new and comprehensive national curriculum framework for teacher education. So for we teachers, also we definitely will go for a sea change in terms of qualification for those who will come. By 2030, 4 years BA degree will be only qualification is considered to enter into this field. And 4-year degree is something, it's a very welcome change, because if you see, after graduation, students come to this traditional B.Ed colleges, right, for 2 years. Earlier it was for 1 year, and now it is for 2 years. The teachers from this teacher education college believes that person has the knowledge of the subject, and then they teach the pedagogy. That means person, let us say example of English. The teacher educator of English believe that a student of B.Ed has MA with English. That means he has the knowledge of English. So we, as a teacher of English, teacher educator of English, he taught only the pedagogy, that how to teach English, and believe that that person is having a knowledge of that English. But you know the means reality. In reality, teachers, the students may not have the sound subject matter or subject knowledge, and after that, with that faulty subject knowledge, with their shady or shallow pedagogy, when they enter into the educational world, that also create a lot of problem for them also and for student also. Students, it is more for students than those teachers, right? Here the welcome change here is that in these curricula, especially in secondary schools, they are going to add financial literacy and artificial intelligence also. Especially the financial literacy is one of the best and most welcome change here. There, see, if you see any, go to any commerce college, if you ask them what you have to learn, they say we learn finance right now. But when we ask the question that how to earn money, they are also really, they get wondered, they get puzzled, right? Why? The thing is that we means teach about the subject. We don't teach the subject. That is the problem, right? The point here is that financial literacy really help them to means teach that how to sustain. And the artificial intelligence is the day, means it's a day of this demand of the day, and definitely it is a one of the most welcome change here. Next is uh, the this particular the higher education curriculum will be quite flexible, so students can opt whatever they want to opt. Now they have the academic credit bank also, where their credit will be deposited. Multiple exit and entry levels are also there, so whenever they want to enter, they can enter with the credit they have stored in their bank, academic bank, and with that they can continue their study also. Meanwhile, if they feel that they want to take a break, they can take a break also. This is definitely a very dream or maybe a dreamy thing, right? Administration or maybe a very sound system to administer this, and let us see how it will go on for. And fostering the research culture, we have now National Research Foundation, which will be the apex body, and they are going to fund all the research, and they will also grow the research capacity in higher education. We have many agencies who are doing these things now also, but now it will be taken care by the parent body, and that will be National Research Foundation. Now, these are the initiatives that are already announced and that are already being done right now. First is Vidya Pravesh, a 3-month play base. Please remember, 3-month play base preparation for grade 1. So it is like a very, very robust and a very welcome change here. And it's a very robust start and very uh, playful start for those who really entering into this new world of academics. So when they are starting, they are coming with the very in a playway manner right now. They're coming with a peace and happiness right now. Definitely, it will be a wonderful way. And if you see, if you just go through surf the internet in Vidya Pravesh, what they do, there is a list is given. If you see that list, you will enjoy a lot. That the syllabus, the structure is designed in such a manner that a grade 1 student for 3 months is going to have a wonderful time there. And if the beginning is that much pleasant, then definitely the journey will definitely going to be very fine. The next is Indian Sign Language. This is one of the most drastic, we can say, a change is happening, that Indian Sign Language will be a subject in the secondary level also, and there will be a material they will prepare in Indian Sign Language for differently able and the other student also. Then Nishtha 2.0. Now, Nishtha means I am in means I am also associated with this because I am in a translation module for translating this module from English to Gujarati for GCERT. So I have gone through this. This is a wonderful module where teachers' emotional intelligence, teachers' well-being, as well as teachers' empathy level is increased. So this training is really something which can make a teacher a high touch human. We can a high touch human who enter into classroom, teach as well as touch the life of students. This is a very good module. Then next is SAFL. SAFL means structured assessment for analyzing learning levels. Now this is going to be a competency based framework, And this is going to apply for CBSE school for grade 3, 5, and 8. Now, AI is the boom, but Indian students are facing problem because AI was not there in our regional language. So here, AI for All is the website where artificial intelligence can be taught in a multiple language. So a student from India, so let us say student from Gujarat can learn the AI in Gujarati also. So the language barrier has gone, right? So that we need to see that language barrier has gone. Then the academic bank credit we have already discussed that this is the bank where your credit will be stored. That suppose I am a student, I have studied for 2 years, then I thought that I should take a break and just see the world. Then my credits are stored. I can come back and I can study again, right? Or I can just go to some other institution. Those credit will be transferred there also. So this is a very good option for those who really want to do something in a different way. It is not so that you have entered, that means you have to finish only and you have to finish from here only, right? You have a choice that you can start here, you can finish there, right? Then first year engineering program. This is important. The first year engineering program is in regional languages. So the first year will be in regional language. So transition problem of those who are facing in engineering and medical can be ward off here. This can be definitely ease for those students who are facing problem with English, right? See, English has its own importance. But if you see the Indian structure itself right now, English is placed at certain position only. The rest of the world is still in a regional language only. So those students are really deprived because they don't have the knowledge of English, and that is why they are not able to compete or they are not able to learn the subject itself. So here the language barrier becomes the educational barrier. And for that, this is the change they have inaugurated. And then the guideline for the internalization of the higher education. There are 100 institutes which are it is said that there are more than 100 institutes will definitely going to have their branches in India, and we have the policy also that every university should have one international department which handle these international students affairs and all other things, right? So these two, this is also one of the thing where we have a competition also, and we have a means opportunity to learn also. Shift this Parak is a very good change, that performance assessment review analysis of knowledge of holistic development. So earlier the testing is something which is considered as quite a boring task and quite a laborious task for teachers also and for student also. But now it is going to be competency based. It is going to be AI based also, where analysis, critical thinking, and conceptual clarity will be emphasized on. So here it's not about a rote learning or just we can say on, we cannot say in this platform, but that's a thing that is told for our examination, and that is called vomit. I mean either vomit or omit. If you know, vomit on the paper. If you don't know, just omit that thing right now. So that thing is told for me. That is what our examination system is called. But that is about to change with the help of Parak, because it is going to be an AI-based analysis of holistic development. And this is going to be a standard body which will going to assess not only from the smallest test of means of the school to the highest level test of IAS, NET, SLAT, all the JEE, JRE, all these things will be done by Parak only. But it will take time. They are saying that it will take 3 to 4 years for this. Now, let us about our teacher effectiveness. Now, teacher effectiveness, teacher is a backbone of the class, right? And now teacher is a backbone of the this virtual atmosphere also, the virtual climate also. The point here is that if he is not robust, if he is not competent, if he is not effective, then definitely we are really creating a kind of a generation who is faulty, because that teacher is not going to create a kind of a classic learner. So the word teacher effectiveness is very important. The word, as an English teacher, this word effectiveness is one of the, I think it's one of the best word we can analyze. We should analyze. What is effective? Effective means creating an impact. If teacher is not able to create the impact in online environment or either in offline environment, he The whole purpose of education we're definitely going to do is do more only. So the promotion will definitely of teachers will be merit based. Some mechanism will be evolved in which periodic performance appraisal and periodic testing will be there. And based on that, they have the opportunity for being administrator or they can be teacher educator also. That kind of scheme will be evolved. And national professional standard for teachers will be developed by NCERT by 2022, right? Where they will also consult SCERT, teachers, expert organization, or at all the level from local to region to develop that standard. So teachers, a new way of what do you say, self-appraisal is coming. A new way of definitely the whole sea change is coming. In this particular time, the Robin Sharma has said a wonderful statement that if we are not updated, we are outdated. So in this particular transition time, if you're not updating, keep abreasting ourselves for the fresh and innovative techniques of teaching as well as our own subject knowledge, then definitely we are doomed to in this particular situation. Now, faculty at higher education. Now, this faculty at higher education is very important because they see at higher education students are not. I mean, if you see today's higher education, lectures are means dominating the whole higher education field. If we just compare the premium institute, if we compare the elite institute of the world also, where lectures are taking the portion of only 29%. So 29% weightage is given to lectures. The other things are there in a different way. That means maybe a project-based learning, interaction, debate, then means group learning, group churning. All these things are used other than lectures, right? So this NEP 2020 focusing that the teacher of higher education should be quite motivated, energized, and capable faculty. Now, how to make them capable? They have the whole design and planning for that also, right? Okay. Their capacity, their job profile will be clearly defined, and that is going to be quite transparent in the recruitment system also. And even the training of them will be also done in a very, very structured as well as it international level. These things will be done, right? And the most important thing is that those faculties who are not performing well will not be surviving in this particular climate. Now, teacher education. As we have discussed earlier, teacher education by 2030, this will be a rule that the minimum qualification to enter into the field of teaching is 4-year integrated B.Ed, where you teach subject also, sorry, where you learn subject also and you learn how to teach that subject also. So this is a very good welcome change. An objective is to ensure that all the students at all the level of school are taught by the passionate, motivated, highly qualified, professionally trained, and well-equipped teachers. See, these are not just big adjectives like passionate, motivated, highly qualified, professionally trained, and well qualified teachers. These are not just the big adjectives. These are certain standard that this NEP has set for us that if teacher is there, teacher should be like this. One of the very good change or one of the very good step is taken. That is, we cannot say change, but this is a step is taken. That is a mentoring mission. So national mission for mentoring will be established, which will be a large pool of outstanding senior faculties, retired faculties, right, who has the ability to teach in Indian languages as well as English is also there, who would be able to provide short or long-term mentoring or a professional support to university or college teachers, right? Now, this is something it's really good. See, if we see after retirement, no matter how good you are, right, and no matter how much knowledge you possess, no matter how what kind of a kind of a, what do you say, a kind of a aura or charisma you possess, 62 after 62, all the best people just it's removed from the streamline right now. That streamline education. They definitely be a part of it, but they don't have the say in it right now. See, to be a part of it, not to have a word in it right now, to have a hold in it right now, to have their own opinion in it is a very different story. So here now they will be also one of the important part in this in this mainstream education with the help of this national mission for mentoring. Now, with this all the changes and information, we need to stop here and think that all these things they are looking for, all this image transformation they are bringing forward for developing three things. If you see Delors report, learning to be, learning to do, learning to become, right? And learning to live together. So all the Delors report, then this 21st century skills, which is learning skills, literary skills, and life skills, combination of these three skills, right? And this sustainable goal development, that is a fourth goal, that is quality and equity for in education for all the people in the world. That is a sustainable goal, that 4 point. So all these are really combining and focusing on skill development. We start with the first, and that is 21st century skill. Now, what is 21st century skill? The 21st century skill, if you just define that thing, this is a skill which includes critical thinking, reasoning, creativity, creative thinking, problem solving, metacognition, collaboration, communication, global citizen, and many more, right? And there is a whole list. There is a whole framework is also given that how to develop these skills, and everything is there on website on UN. You can definitely check on that. But this is a thing that we need to develop. And fours are emphasized a lot in learning skills. That is critical thinking, creative thinking, collaborative thinking, and communication. And all these four C's are also emphasized in NEP 2020. Apart from that, in literacy skill, they're focusing on information, media, and technology. If you read after 33 pages of NEP, after 33 pages, you will find that there is a focus on information, media, and technology a lot. And to live in life means to live in society, the person need to be sociable. And to be sociable, you need a life skill. And the life skills that are mentioned in 21st century are flexibility, leadership, initiative, productivity, and social skills. And if you see our NEP document, you will find that all these skills called life skills are also considered more than these five skills. Other skills are also added in our in our NEP. What I want to say here is that this technology, this literacy, this literacy, this learning, this life skill, all these things are there in NEP. The point is that what exactly they are going to do with it, or what they are going to do to develop in Indian students. And if they are going to develop all these things, what will be how the future of this education will be, how the future learner will be, or how the future teacher will be. That is what we need to discuss, or that is what we need to think of. Again, the policy is also connected with the sustainable goals, sustainable development goals, and of it the fourth goal is ensure inclusion, equitable equality, education, and promote lifelong learning and opportunity for all. So if you go through these from 5th to 30, page number 30, right now you'll find that the fourth quality indicator, that is fourth goal of sustainable development, is explained and is also incorporated in our national education policy. In the light of this, what kind of learner will be? So suppose, let us say this educational policy is implemented, and it is implemented in a very nature in which it is written, and with a spirit is written, with the words, which becomes by realizing the dream of this policy. If it is implemented, what kind of learner it will be, right? So this learner will be future ready. That means they have commitment to the industry, that is relevance, and they have the entrepreneurship also. They are ready to face the challenges also, and they are ready to face any kind of pandemic or any kind of situation or natural hazards which come into their ways. Second is they will be socially and ethically engaged, right? Technology is not a divide. Technology is a drive. It can really drive you to the people, right? But that is a different way of thinking. So students of future will be engaged meaningfully with social and ethical issues from local, national, international perspectives, right? Then they will be research active. So they will encounter the problem, they will conquer these challenges and problems, and they will also research. I mean, they will definitely see what research active means. What here? That very simple. See, don't take this research, but in a just research or PhD and MPhil level only. MPhil is also now deleted from NEP, so that PhD level only. Research means this is also implemented in play school also. Every day you are coming with, from this door only, and there are 5 doors to go to your classroom. If this door is closed, what the student will do right now? So finding the best other means other door is also a research. It is also a problem solving right now. So it starts with the very foundation and it goes up to extreme. So they will be research active in that manner. They will be globally connected. Definitely social media as well as other things will play a part, but apart from that they will be means globally connected in their curriculum also, in their learning experience also. So we can find we can say that in future there will be a lot of students exchange program will be there, where students from different countries and different regions will work together. And as now India has opened the means opened the whole educational sector for welcoming the Ivy League colleges and Ivy League institutions of the world to be here, then definitely it will be a lot of interaction. That it will be not a lot of internationalization of the curriculum will definitely be there, and the students will be digitally empowered. That means right now we have a tool and we are using education. Means we are using mobile. But the point here is that apart from that, digitally empowered means what? That you are using the tool to learn as well as to empower yourself and as well as to uplift your whole situation, uplift your whole means social situation also as well as economical situation also. So they will be digitally empowered to learn as well as to uplift themselves also, and thereby affecting the society locally as well as globally. So these are the 4 envisioned for the learners, that learners will be future ready, socially and ethically engaged, research active, globally connected, and digitally empowered. Next is these are the welcome changes that you will find in a future with the help of this national education policy. And these are something that we must think of. The first is practical learning strategies. Learning will definitely going to change its meaning in future. So if it is not practical, if it is not active, it is not experiential, it is pathetic, it is outdated, students will not going to have interest into it. See, if you see 30 years back, information was the king. Information was everything. Information was stored, information was stolen, information was get hidden from someone, right? So there was a whole conspiracy of information was there. Now information is free thanks to Google and so many other initiatives from on the web. So point here is that when the information is free, why the students should come to take information in the classroom? So here the question is that they are not coming here to take information in the classroom. They are here to create or to take experience in the classroom. Try to understand this. The teachers has to learn that right now, that teaching is not just a teaching. Teaching is a teaching act in which you have to act in a such a way which provides such a finished, such a nice act of teaching of that subject presentation, that people like to come to your class. People like to attend to you means virtually. So whole means the whole future of teaching based on how you make them feel only. So practical learning strategies are required, and practical teaching strategies are also required. So here both practical learning strategies and teaching strategies will evolve. Next is focus on students' choice and preference. Earlier, as certain set degrees are there, now those barriers are blurred. So now we have multidisciplinary approach also there. Students can take, there is no watertight compartment like science, commerce, arts. Now everything is merged. The boundaries are there and they will be, but NEP is trying to make it blur. And because of that thing, sure, students will have choice and preference. Student will also have that choice when to start, when to stop. Student will have that choice also that they want to take break, they can take break also. They can change the institute also. Even they can change the country also, that credit can be transferred. So this choice is also there. Even simple in simple term, if you are taking a course or a means program or a degree on course era, edX, super learn, future learn, you know that you can have that degree at your own time, at your own space, at your own pace, space and pace. Why? Because that flexibility is given on those platforms. And same is also with the Swayam, our own Indian platform, where you can learn anytime, any place, anywhere where you want. You just need a device and internet, nothing else. Next is collaboration, right? Students will learn in collaboration. This forum, the forum word will in future will boom like anything. There is peer learning, peer tutoring, and peer doubt clearing sessions will definitely going to boom a lot because students will learn that way only. And that is why there are lots of powerful tools are coming for sharing and connecting with each others. There are a lot of tools, right? Every Moodle you see, either it Coursera, Moodle itself, edX, everybody is having their forum in their particular courses. Why? Because their 80-90% of their doubts are cleared by their peers only. And that is a benefit for those also who solve the doubts. Because the you teach more, you learn more. Then the word entertainment, which is not new, will be not a novel concept, we can say, but it will be a good concept where blending of entertainment and learning will be there. So, see, there is a problem in our system, which is my own personal uh, observation. Maybe I'm wrong, but this is what I have observed. That here, entertainment is always considered as something which is not academic. And learning means we have to be very serious. We have to be grave. We cannot even laugh. We cannot even smile. We have to be very serious at our face. Then only that scholar look will come on us, right? The more you laugh, people will take you as a gullible. People will take you as a not so kind of a scholar person, and people will not even take you seriously also. But if you try to behave as a grave person, if you try to behave and talk with such a grave voice, people will consider you as an authority sometimes. This is what I have also observed right now. Why? Because this is a notion that the person who is thinking requires to be serious. It is not so. We need to be sincere in our effort, not serious in a way. And the most important thing in learning is that learning always creates stress. If you can make your students happy, if you make them students laugh, then definitely you are really helping them to relieve that stress when they are learning something new. So edutainment will be definitely going to be something which be the boom in future, and still it is also making a boom right now also. My own blog is the name of the blog is Edutainment with Bhavin Chauhan. What Mayur Bhai said, 2 lakh hits are there on that blog is because of that only. I'm trying to experiment something and putting on it, and that is why students like to listen to it. Students like to watch that thing, nothing else. Emergence of holistic change. Now, what is holistic change? Holistic change means it is not just about the math. It is not about the classes. It's not about the questions. It's not about just what do you say, a technical academic aspects only. It's all about the other aspect like cultural, social, intellectual, and the other emotional. All these aspects will also be covered in the education. After pandemic, according to UNESCO, 92% people in the world are suffering from mental illness, but they are not able to accept or they are not ready to accept they are suffering from something. That is what their own research is. So at that time, this holistic change is required because we know how to handle our finance, but we don't know how to handle our emotions. So that is a big deal, and it's a really something that we should work on. Then the skill-based education paved the way for trained professionals. Please remember, this is something very important. See, if I want to be the carpenter, why should I study the chemistry? Or if I want to be the fine arty, why should I learn the physics? Definitely, there are certain says there a certain say of physics is always there. In painting, also certain chemistry is always there. In the chemical that we use on the wood when we do carpentering or something like that. But point here is that if I want to do something, can I have the only education of that particular specific domain only? Earlier, it was not so. Now it will be. In future, you will know that the one of the biggest dream of everybody is to have their own home. And when they build a home, you will come to know that your home is built definitely by a sophisticated architecture, but the bricks are laid by the person who is not having any kind of training. You will find that means in future the laborer that are coming to your house, your home to make your home will be quite allied and coming with a scientific tool as they are coming into those Western countries. And definitely the skill will emerge in a scientific manner. So the skill will definitely going to emerge, and education like skill-based education will definitely going to boom in future. Then education is on the go is fun. That means mobile education. That we don't need to sit on the desktop. We don't need to sit in the classroom. Whenever you are, just you open the means your mobile and the education starts. So this is going to be fun, and they will design. If you see any YouTube video, now research says that YouTube video should not be more than 3 minutes. Why? Because students are not having that much means attention means or any viewer is not having that much attention more than 3 minutes. It says it is only going to be 17 seconds. So 70 seconds से ज़्यादा आपका attention है ही नहीं तो बड़े बड़े lecture लेके क्या करेंगे? So if you really want to make them engage, that need to have some fun. Again, edutainment comes here. That learning on the go, that is mobile learning, must having some adaptive learning, some fun learning, then only they will get engaged. Because see, if you have a mobile, you have a lot of choices also. And when you have a lot of choices, you may choose something than educating yourself. So if you want to educate, means if the students want if we as a teachers want to develop students or want to educate them, we need to devise our lesson planning or our strategy in such a way which has some fun level into this. Okay. Then appreciating the competencies of the student. Now, as we know that our this whole and as well as whole the structure of this whole structure that is we are having of NEP as well as the past also is competency based. Now competencies of students, we have a whole list of competencies, and there's competencies are also divided into sub points like 1.1, 1.2, right? The whole structure is there, but they were not appreciated. Only the summative performance of the student, that is summative examination assessment was only means appreciated. Now the competencies which is also there not only on textbook but in that report card also it will be appreciated. So the continuous comprehensive assessment as well as that 360-degree portfolio will ensure that whatever competency the students are having, they will be appreciated. Internship. It is going to be one of the most prominent tool for career readiness. So that is a providing, what is internship? Providing a training in a exactly the real atmosphere. That is called internship. Suppose somebody wants to become a doctor, 1 year they go for internship before they getting the degree. So the last year they spent, just like teachers right now, we send teachers for 3 months, we say school internship. So the internship is going to be something which is going to boom and which is going to be a tool for career readiness. So in those areas, in those what do we say gray areas where internship is not considered yet and only summative assessment is there also internship will definitely going to prevail in future. And adaptive learning platform will also going to be prominent. What is adaptive learning? That see, if you This is what exactly the AI is doing. The way you are using mobile, the way you are getting the advertisement, the way you are getting the YouTube notes, the way you are getting the Amazon clicks, the way you are getting all the apps around, the way you are using. That means आप जो भी कुछ देखते हैं उसके हिसाब से ही आपको एडवर्टाइज आती है, उसके हिसाब से ही आपको यूट्यूब के में सॉन्ग्स आते हैं, उसके हिसाब से ही आपको अलग अलग इंफॉर्मेशन मिलती है. So what is happening here, that AI in Google or in this Android mobile or maybe in Siri, right, that is on iOS, they are tracking your activity, and based on that activity, they are providing you what you like. And that is called adaptive experience. Same here right now. In future, artificial intelligence will judge the students, what do you say, access the students' portfolio. They will judge exactly what exactly they like, they don't like, right? According to that, they design the whole learning experience, and that will provide it. Definitely, it will take some time, but artificial intelligence will do that, sure. The future of learning, it will be a project-based learning. Different writing approaches are there, right? See, writing is one of the skill which will always and always promoted, either here also, after even 100 years also, right? Writing is something which really boosts the brain. And writing, there are a lot of researches are there on writing, that the way you write, the way you think. So this is something in future, writing will be one of the most profitable, what do you say, profession also. Why? Because every day more than 369 websites are coming in the market. And all these 369 or 29 websites are having need some data to put into their website. So there they hire what? Content creators, content writers. So writing is something which is already in the demand, and in future it is going to be in high demand. Definitely AI tools are there which can support your writing, but they cannot create the writing. Okay, so still writing is in demand, and with different approaches of writing, you can also earn a lot. And by teaching those things, students can do a lot of things also. Any profession, maybe a business communication to a formal administration communication, you need writing. Good writers are always in demand. In past also, right now also, in future also. Classroom design. Classroom design not going to be those aligned benches they are putting in row. It is not going to be. It is going to be very different. If you just, after this presentation, kindly go through Google and just see the future classroom design, you will come to know there are 16 classroom designs are given. That is futuristic design. That classroom will of future will be like this, and you will be amazed by seeing that. Classroom design means here the classroom is not just a physical classroom. Google itself is a classroom. LMS itself is a classroom. Moodle itself is considered as university, right? edX is considered as a university where you have a classroom also, you have a teacher also, you have friends also, and at the end you get the virtual degree also, like that. Every student in future will have a personalized planning for learning. That means after accessing his intelligence, his way of work, his attitude, AI, the algorithm is going to provide you a personalized plan, that this plan is suitable for you and this way you can learn. Definitely it will take some time, but thing has been started and still it is going on. And the continuous assessment, as we say, 360-degree portfolio is the example for continuous assessment. Okay. These three things we have to remember, that due to this industrial revolution 4.0, that is called fourth educational revolution, industrial revolution, two things are at boom. One is prioritizing the experiential learning, and second is making education more intelligent. Now here understand that experiential learning means what? That you have a virtual lab. Let us say you have a virtual lab. By doing experiment on your mobile, on your PC only, you understand how the chemicals are working, how the physics is working, how the biology is working, right now, yes or no? That is called experiential learning. You jump into the swimming, right, for swim right now, and that by doing you are understanding that this way I can swim. That is experiential learning. But that is a very layman language. Experiential learning is a kind of thing which is it is not just for only physical skill is used. Even for a complex skill also, corporate trainers are using this formula only for more than 60 years, right? So this is going to boom again in formal education also. Next is making education more intelligent. That means what? Taking a support of AI in education will be high with the advancement of fourth industrial revolution. This is a very good book. I request all the participant and viewer to go through this book. This book is very important in two terms. One is this book is giving you the answer to the teachers that what should be done. As I told you now, I come to know that experience is the king in the market than information, or in the educational industry than information. From where? From this Ian Gilbert only, that he has explained that thing, that if you want to survive in this AI age, in this rapid social media age, how to teach or what to do. This is a very good book. I think you should go to it. It has answer that how to survive in the classroom despite having Google. And that's it. Thank you very much. I'm indebted that you have given time, right? Thank you very much for listening. See, listening to somebody for more than 1 hour is a torture. So pardon me, I have taken more than 1 hour. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. It was really enlightening. And now I request all the participants, students, to ask your queries or questions regarding this topic. Please. Yes, Asha has raised her hand. Asha, please unmute yourself and you can ask question.
Good morning, all.
Morning.
Yeah, it's great to see a few friends here. Thank you so much for organizing such an interesting and informative webinar on a new education policy. It's really useful for the people like us who are not in academics currently. So I really thank Professor Bose and his team for organizing the webinar. I have a very small question to Dr. Chauhan, if allowed.
Yeah,
Can I? Dr.
Yeah.
Chauhan. Sir, any elaboration on course designing with reference to Parak? Can you elaborate how to design a course, or any, if you can illustrate course designing with reference to Parak? You said performance
Yes.
assessment, review, analysis of knowledge holistic.
See, Parak is a new entrant. It is in a still a baby mode. It is still in pipeline. The things are not finalized yet. But 2 points are here. Teaching, designing, and assessment are the 3 part of education. So as before, the Parak definitely going to be applied in Indian context. Before that, the clear guideline will be there that how to design or how to teach that course. And after that, Parak will be implemented. Because without that, the whole purpose of Parak will be lost only if the teaching is in a different manner, designing is in a different manner, and assessment is in a different manner. So right now it is in pipeline. Still, it is just an initiative that we are going to have. It is a hope that is given to us. It is something that is given. It is still in work on. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Okay, any other question? Okay, so I would like to request the participants from your side. Any 2 participants can give their reflections on this webinar. Please. Any feedback, any reflections from your side, please. Okay, Ravi Bhai Tribhuvan Das.
Hello. Hello.
Yes, you are audible.
Can you hear me, sir?
Yes.
Actually, as madam says, what type of curriculum design and what kind of teaching should be included in NEP 2020. I have heard somewhere that we are going to start and we are going to depend on NCF 2005, right? So I have heard somewhere that NCF 2005 is uh, eligible for NEP 2020. I have heard somewhere that. So nowadays we have to focus on NCF 2005. So I want to know from Chauhan sir that I have heard that particular thing from somewhere. Is it true or false?
Yeah. See, NCF 2005 will not be, it will be obsolete. Right now, the team is there and they are working and they are going to provide NCFT 2021, right? So the work is in pipeline and we are going to have that, right? By the end of this 21, you will have a new action plan and based on that, things will go on, right? So definitely, till then, we have NCF 2005 only, but by the end, you will have a new NCF 2021 also, which is already announced right now. It is there in that document also. You can see on April, we have got a wonderful line of action given. And in that, this is already mentioned. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Any other question or reflection?
Sir, I would like to ask one question.
Please,
May
please. Yes,
I?
please.
So, you said that in order to
Also
be
switch
a
on your
teacher,
camera. Also switch on your camera, please.
is it okay if I don't?
Okay, yes, go on. Not an issue.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I was asking that you said it is a requirement to pursue to have B.Ed degree in order to be a teacher. So, what about the students that are pursuing MA? Will
MA
they also MA in the sense they are doing they have done BA, now they are doing MA, so they will they have to also do B.Ed after they complete their MA in order to be a teacher?
definitely. Right now.
Okay.
See, there is a different combinations are here. If you have gone through earlier, this debate was also there that those who have done their masters and if they are aspire to come into this particular field, what can be done for them? So for them also, there are midway was taken. And there are certain formulas also prepared at that time. So they have to go for only 2 years of B.Ed and 2 years of B.Ed will not be absolute with this 4 years of B.Ed, right? So that was one of the solution. Second thing is that there will be a combination. So students are what is it encouraged as well as they will be make aware that if you want to be a teacher, start thinking from standard 12 only because 4 year of B.Ed, integrated B.Ed is one of the choice which is good for their career also and it will save time also. Even still they miss and they have finished their BA's graduations and post graduations, these 2 years of B.Ed will be there and they will not going to stop that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Now, I would like to request Nirzari Raval to give her feedback. Nirzari, are you there?
Am I audible, sir?
Yes, absolutely. Please.
Thank you, sir, for giving me this opportunity. I got to know many things after the session of Dr. Chauhan, sir. Like before, I viewed the NEP 2020, but I was not aware of many things which I got to know from Chauhan, sir. Like he talked about holistic development and 360-degree portfolio. wherein students would not be evaluated only on comprehensive, but students would be evaluated overall. So like whatever the students have other than comprehensive knowledge, they would be evaluated overall. So that I got to know. And about Parak, that would be Parak based evaluation would be there in IAS NET SLET also. So that was wonderful. And yeah, the evaluation would not only be comprehensive, but it would be overall evaluation. So I think that is the best way, like we can understand or know the student in overall aspects. So that's all from my side, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, Nirjari. Vivek Mishra. Vivek, please.
Hello, sir. Am I audible, sir?
Yes.
First of all, sir, I would like to thank our institute for giving me this opportunity and organizing such kind of events. And for a, what you can say, trainee, it is good to hear from our guide also only, because Bhavin sir is my present guide in MET program. So I was very happy when this brochure was brought to me from HM Patel Institute's group. Then I was very happy that it is one more opportunity to be close to our guide. And it was a very good presentation. And some of the doubts will be there because we are now training. I will ask him personally regarding this in an elaborative manner. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Vivek. Now, I would like to request the principal, Honorable Principal Sir, Dr. Ranveer Bose, for his remarks. Sir, please.
I switch on the video before you ask me. It's not in NEP. Yeah, I'm very sure that with this brief presentation, it will be difficult to comprehend everything that is pointed in the large volume of NEP. I'm happy to say that a sequel to this webinar, or prior to this webinar, or clubbing this webinar, we have organized, or we are actually organizing, it's going on a workshop for our trainees on NEP. For that, I give the credit to Dr. Dodia and the team, IQAC team. I think it's the second day, right, Dodia? It's going on in our institute. So what I would like to, in fact, encourage you people to do such activities to understand NEP better, instead of reading the whole things at one sitting. Help children to work on that in the classroom. You can make slots, and for example, as somebody asked about the evaluation, you can think of evaluation alone in one slot, or you can think of teaching alone in one slot, or designing syllabus in one slot. Then you can have a workshop on that instead of listening, talking so much. That would help us to understand NEP better. In fact, this NEP-based curriculum is implemented in IITE, Gandhinagar, Institute of Teacher Education, Indian Institute of Teacher Education, Gandhinagar. They designed the new syllabus based on NEP. Though I have reservations on evaluation system that they brought out. Otherwise, the syllabus is actually focusing on multilingualism. Bhavin was right in saying that, giving importance to the mother tongue to understand the concept, whether it is science or social studies or mathematics. Why can't we teach them through mother tongue? That will be more comfortable. That is actually a point where we can have discussions at length. Multilingualism is actually being promoted in India with a positive objective of helping children to understand difficult concepts. And later, as he mentioned, after 12th, we can opt for a BA, BEd, or a postgraduate degree. Somebody also asked a question on, I'm MA, so should I go for B.Ed? B.Ed is actually a training program. So you should be trained how to become a teacher. Nobody is born as a teacher. I don't believe in that. You should be trained. Good training should be given to help a aspirant to become a good teacher. Otherwise, you can't be a good teacher. You may be fluent in English, you may be fluent in Gujarati, but you may not be good in teaching languages. So you should be trained. This framework actually meant for helping India to reach a new platform. That is a vision of this whole program. I'm so happy that within this short time, Bhavin could touch many aspects of NEP. I hope the participants benefited a lot from this, and they will carry on the things that he presented. Thank you very much, and thank you very much, Bhavin, and all the participants from all over India. There are more than 100 participants. I'm so happy to see that. Thank you very much. And keep in touch with us. Keep in touch with the institute, and wherever you are, we'll be ready to help you in your training program, your academics, your professional development. We are ready to help you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. So we are in the concluding part of this webinar. I would like to extend my gratitude to the expert of this webinar, Dr. Bhavin Chauhan, for sparing his important time from his busy schedule to grace the event and enlightening us with the most relevant ideas on envisioning teaching and learning in the light of NEP 2020. As a coordinator of Internal Quality Assurance Cell and on behalf of Alumni Association of the Institute, I express my gratitude to you, sir. We are also looking forward to arrange such more sessions with you in future. Thank you so much, sir. And I would like to express my gratitude to all the esteemed guests, alumni, participants, students for their presence and their interaction also to make this webinar an enormous success. And the feedback link is already shared in the chat box of this MS Teams. So you will be able to follow that link by this chat box only. It will not be shared in the WhatsApp group and not will be mailed to you. So who attended the webinar will be able to give their feedback, and your certificates will be mailed to you in a week. So thank you once again. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir.
Once again, I am instructing about the feedback. Feedback link is already shared in the chat box of this MS Teams, and you will be able to follow that link and give your feedback. Then after, your certificates will be mailed to you.
हेलो सर.
Yes.
सर नमस्कार, मेरा नाम